once you apply for the exam and everything and you pass and they approve your citizenship, you will have to wait 6 months to have your actual naturalization letter.
Oh, I see. I see. 6 months, which is not bad at all compared to
No,
some other
not really.
places.
Yeah.
You can apply for citizenship, and the process takes around 6 months to 1 year to get the passport.
All right, so
But you
a
need
lot of marketers want to suppress these three options. They don't want to talk about these hidden gems. And the reason why they don't want to talk about it, because there's no commissions, there's no marketing fees that they make off it. They're usually going to promote the Caribbean CBI option. And eventually, those are not sustainable. They lose all the access. They enter all the travel ban lists. For example, the US issued a travel ban on a couple of those Caribbean options, and the rest of them are the citizens are being sent back from different European countries. At least we know Norway is sending back all those citizens. They even detained and deported Dominican passport holders. So if you have that Dominican passport and if you are headed to certain countries, you got to be careful. The passports were confiscated and people were expelled from Norway. And this is consistent with other programs. Even the other Caribbean CBI passport holders have been denied entry, and this is repeatedly confirmed now. What's also happening is the ETA system is going to be implemented by Europe across all nationalities, and that's where they potentially would identify CBI citizens who have purchased these passports. And we yet need to know what exactly is going to happen to those citizens, so you are aware. And if you are subscribed to this channel, this is the leading channel for breaking news. The moment the ETA is implemented, whatever impact happens to Caribbean citizens, you would be the first one to be notified if you are subscribed. So take a moment, check your subscription status, and if you aren't yet subscribed, turn that on. Now, the options that I have narrowed down over here, the reason why I'm specifying or mentioning these options is because they actually provide you with citizenship. Unlike some of the other Latin countries or other countries around the world, where they will say that yes, you can naturalize in 5 years or 3 years or 2 years, but in reality, they don't even issue citizenships. So you want to have practical ground level reality and experience from countries that actually issue you citizenships. They are functional when it comes to awarding nationality. So you want to target those countries. You want to stick to those countries if you're really looking for citizenship in practice. If theoretically you're chasing citizenship, yes, Panama offers citizenship in 5 years, but good luck trying to get that passport. So that is where you got to be smart. You got to be careful. They don't bluff you when they say 6 months to 12 months. You actually stick to those time frames. If you have the documentation in place, if you've done the hard work, you planted your flag at the right time, and it's now time to reap the benefits, you actually get naturalized. And we have powerful attorneys in all these countries where we help our candidates. Let's say you started the residency, it's time for citizenship. We can assist you end to end with both processes. The attorneys are local born attorneys. They've been working with immigration for several years, hundreds of cases and personal experience, talking from absolute personal experience. That is what you want to stick to. Yes, it may cost a couple of bucks, but you know that your application is going to be accurate, on time, and certain, right? You want to have a certain benefit, you want to have a certain outcome. Two of the countries on this list where the time frame to citizenship is actually 6 months plus, right? So let's say in the best case scenario, you can expect your nationality in 6 months. So that's the processing time. So either you stay there 3 years and then you apply for citizenship. In case of Mexico, there's a 2 years fast track. So if you're eligible under the fast track, then you would apply for citizenship after 2 years. There's also a 3 year pathway with family connections, family ties, and the general option is 5 years in Mexico. Similarly, if you look at Uruguay, 3 years if you're a family, you can apply for citizenship, and 5 years if you're a single applicant, you can apply for citizenship. That's the first benefit. The second major benefit, the reason why I have shortlisted these countries, is because all these residencies are permanent residencies if you qualify for direct permanent residency. For example, Uruguay, you can directly get permanent residency. In Mexico, you can get either temporary or permanent. It really is based on the qualifying criteria. If you want to know what the qualifying criteria is, you can return and take a look at this video. I have a complete interview with the attorney and I go over all the different options in order to qualify for the Mexican temporary or the permanent residency. The third major benefit of these type of residencies, all these residencies, and I'm going to come to the third one in a second here, but all these three residencies is that they're paper residencies. So easy to manage, does not hurt your lifestyle, right? They can run in the background, and then you obviously, and if you're looking for citizenship, you establish some connections to the country at the right time, and then you apply for nationality. The third benefit is that they are some of the most powerful and respectable passport in the world. In fact, one of the options gets you the most powerful passport in the world, and you've heard it right, not one of the, in my opinion, it is the most powerful passport in the world. Regarding the third one, you need to live in this country for 6 months, right, in the final year. So let's say you have a paper residency, a dateless lifelong status. You're using it as a paper residency, but now it's time to naturalize. Let's say between the 4th year and 5th year, you put the time on the ground, right? You do the 6 months plus 1 day. So in that 6 months, obviously you become a continuous resident of that jurisdiction, and then you become eligible to apply for your nationality. Processing will be slightly longer, but the connection, the 6-month connection over here, is that you actually physically only need to be here for 6 months in the final year. This requires one of the lowest physical presence in the world. A lot of people don't have physical time to spend in the country, so this one becomes very important option for those type of people, in my opinion. And none of this is legal, immigration, finance, or tax advice, but in my opinion, all three, if you have the means, if you have the time, you should grab all three residencies and then pluck the fruits when the right time comes. You're planting the seeds, they all blossom at some point, and then you pluck the fruits at the right time, and the benefit, the rewards that you get is extraordinary. It takes care of you and your family for your lifetime. The first option is the Uruguay option. Fairly straightforward. You start off with a direct permanent residency, $1,200 US dollars in monthly income from your job. It could be passive, it could be any kind of income. You directly start off with permanent residency. It takes 3 days to acquire this status. You keep the paper residency in your back pocket, and if you're looking for citizenship, of course, you establish some genuine links to the country, and then you apply for nationality after 3 years. And at any point in time, you are interested in sharing more as to how you qualify for the 3-year track versus the 5-year track. And if you want to get started with any of these options that I'm discussing throughout the video, you can always click the link, book a call, and we can get you started with 1, 2, or all 3 options. Uruguay is a Mercosur citizenship, so that is where this becomes extremely powerful. You can not only settle in Uruguay, but you can settle in Chile, you can settle in Peru, you can settle in other Mercosur nations. You can also travel freely across all the borders. It's like the Schengen access on the Latin side, and you can obviously naturalize in other Mercosur countries. Opens up the doors for you within the Mercosur bloc. So that's the first option. The second option over here is one of my favorite options, and this passport is the best passport in the world because it gets you all of Schengen access. It gets you an APEC access. What is APEC? APEC is a business access to powerful countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Chile, Peru, and the list goes on, Russia, and it's a business access. It's not just a visa-free. Your US or Canadian passport will give you a visa-free access, but this Mexican passport gives you an APEC access, which is very different, very powerful as compared to other nations. Now, US and Canada aren't full APEC members. They're only transitional members, which have very less benefits, but this Mexican one has all the APEC benefits that you would need. It is also a TN NAFTA country, treaty member. So you get the TN access to the US. Canada has it, Mexico has it. These are the only 2 countries that have a backdoor entry to the US, which is the TN access. And if you package all of this, the Latin access, the Schengen, and all these different things, then I feel the Mexican passport is a tank. You can't get any more powerful than the Mexican nationality. What's the deal? You start off with a temporary or a permanent, does not matter. You can qualify under the fast track, 2 years. If you have merit, if there's anything in your background that can be proven as a merit, then you can apply for the 2 years track. You can do the 3 years track if you have a family connection in Mexico. You can do the normal 5-year track if you want to wait it out. You don't have any other connections. You don't want to invest in the country, just want to hang on to the paper residency. In the final 2 years, you establish some genuine links to Mexico, and then you can apply for nationality. Panama, for example, is a stark contrast where yes, you satisfy the requirements. Guatemala is another example where yes, you can be on the ground. Nicaragua is another example. Yes, you can be on the ground, but when you apply for citizenship, it could take several years, maybe 5 years, 10 years. They never get back. That's not the case with Uruguay and Mexico. The third on the list is unique. Now, here the citizenship is not super fast. It won't happen in 6 months. It'll take slightly more time, and it all varies. We try to expedite this. We have specialized attorneys in South Africa to work directly with immigration to expedite your matter. Here, the beauty is the time on the ground is some of the lowest in the world. It's only 6 months that you spend in the final year, establish your connections to South Africa, and then you obviously naturalize. Now, South African passport is quite unique. It's a hidden gem. A lot of people will talk about the safety situation and stuff like that in South Africa. This is a paper residency. My friend, the reason why you're listening to this video is because you don't want to live in the country for that long, right? You want to have a paper access and then legal access. And when I say paper, it's just that the country does not define any minimum physical presence. So they're giving you this flexibility. You don't have to live, if you don't feel safe in South Africa, then you're getting a paper residency. So that's in your favor, right? So you decide whether you want to live there, you don't want to live there. But once the time comes, of course, you're looking at some genuine connections to South Africa, especially in the final year. You satisfy their legal requirements, and then you can apply for this nationality. The reason why I'm discussing South Africa in this video is because South Africa is a tank. It's a powerful passport. It has access to Uruguay. A lot of my South African clients are targeting the Uruguay permanent residency because they can directly enter visa-free and get the direct permanent residency from Uruguay. So South Africa is a good nationality to have in your portfolio. Whether you're a black family or a white family, you could look like you naturally belong to South Africa or naturally come from South Africa. A ton of nationalities actually live in South Africa. So it's one of those passports which really blends well with any profile. That's the big advantage. And the respect of the South African passport is pretty high. So even if you want to jack up the strength by getting several visas on the South African passport, I rarely see visa rejections on a South African passport. So that's where this becomes unique. Let's say you want a quick passport, a strong passport, a tank of a passport in just 2 weeks. A very powerful passport in 2 weeks. If you've missed that coverage, it's a must watch. Hop onto this video. This talks about a passport that you can obtain by opening a bank account. It's effectively free. In fact, you get paid for opening a bank account, and you can also get this passport at the same time. Catch you in this one.